Yay! 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 Okay. Now I'm going to type in my Wednesday welcome names. So let me get on my channel on my phone. Oh my goodness, I missed being on here. On my phone. Oh my goodness, I missed being. Oops, sorry. Okay, so we have the first name. This is a wonderful person. Her name is Bossy, and that is number 1. Number 2, she's a very informative channel, and I really like her. She mods in a few streams I visit. And then here is another favorite and a really good friend. We have TPG's World. He is awesome. And then we have, of course, I've got to show her channel too, just because she just has a wonderful sense of humor. Hey, Tupac. How are you tonight? We have Scotty, Michelle Scott. I'm posting her tonight in the Wednesday welcomes. She's got a great sense of humor, Michelle does. And here is another favorite. Of course, one of my favorite lace ladies, Maggie White. How are you doing, Tupac? And then we have my favorite number 5 spot. We have Patty Lang. She's going to be on my number 5 spot till she makes 1K. And then we have another favorite. These two are just, oh, they're such fun. On a personal level, I just think these two are just fantastic. And it's not even that they, will promote other channels. It's just, they're a great couple to watch. They're a lot of fun. Is Pusa Studios. And I actually met this person through Pusa Studios. Hey, Tim. And I really like her channel. She is really good. Her husband's actually David, the producer, is Juliet Miranda. She does a bourbon night where she's just great. She interviewed I think it was the lead singer of Kansas. So they kind of know some people, the band Kansas. She has it on her channel, and she's just a lot of fun to listen to. And there's like a lot of participation because they ask like your favorites. So I like her. I don't get to see her channel too much. I've only been on it a couple times on her live streams, but she's a lot of fun. And then this is a person I met a while back. I wish I could visit more channels, but as your channel grows, it gets hard. She's a makeup channel, but she's so sweet. Her name's Nicole. That's her channel name. She's awesome. And then we have one of the very supportive people that comes into your chat a lot. And, whether she's just gabbing with you or having her sales or participates in your sales, we have Luz Mercado. Now, where the heck did that come from? Hold on a minute. I just got an invite to a chat room. I didn't know that kicked on. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay. I signed into one of my old chat programs I haven't been in a while. That's too funny. Okay. And then we have this woman. She just takes me back, and she's so creative, and I love watching her. And even though she like might be famous for her digitals and things, she's just a blast. If you love crafting, and I was watching her do Back to the Basics today, she kind of reminds me of one of my grandmothers who used to put in a dish, you know, a dash of this, a pinch of that. And she made homemade gesso out of cornstarch and stuff today. And it's like so cool to me because I just feel like when you find a crafter that's down to earth and loves to put, you know, things together from scratch, I just think it's cool. And that is Artie Mays. So there are my 10 people for this Wednesday. I think I only bought one of her digitals so far. I haven't got to use it yet. But I just love her videos. Because she laughs at even her own mistakes. Like, you know, because you're never perfect at doing stuff. But it's really cute because when she was doing the gesso, she put too much glue in it and had to add extra cornstarch to make it like, you know, she knows the textures. And it's kind of like how I bake my cookies. I have a homemade scratch recipe that turns out, and it has nothing to do with, you know, you can measure, they have ingredients, but sometimes the texture doesn't turn out depending on what you're using. But I know what it takes to make the texture turn out. So I keep adding until it does. So I don't know. She's kind of reminded me of that today when I was watching one of her videos. But I think she's a sweet crafter. Yes. I was playing in my kitchen, Tim, and I have this recipe that I created from scratch. And there's just something about it with the taste of the cookie mixed with the icing that I make. And they're both homemade. And my grandkids love it, but it's just because it's from scratch and it's so time consuming to make. I don't get to make them a whole lot. So you can imagine how fast they're wiped out when I do. They like eat them in one night. And one time I literally had to hide a whole bunch of these cookies, not letting them know that I made them just so that they would last for the holiday. But they're a favorite. So anyways, I actually got my computer up and running. It's not exactly the same as I had it because things were updated and stuff, but I literally had to have remote assistance to fix it today. And even he was running into problems because it crashed. It really crashed. That's why I haven't done a live for a couple weeks. I took it apart because I kept getting a fan error that popped up. So I fixed my CPU fan. I bought another one, replaced it because I do love working on computers too. But sometimes the little check mark things get on my nerves because sometimes it's only a couple check marks to fix a big problem. But he came in today and it was funny because he started getting some of the same errors I was getting. It shouldn't have been where they were. Like, for instance, when you do a restore, it should automatically do it. Well, my computer refused to do this restore. They literally had to take it back to factory. I've had nothing but problems with this computer since I got it. It was mainly the printer because it wasn't working wirelessly, and it sat for like a year and found out that it needed a cord. Once I put the cord into it, everything worked right. Is that like not strange? So I don't trust wireless equipment. That's just me. I don't even like a wireless mouse because I feel like you go through too many batteries and they're too slow. I'm picky when it comes to computer stuff. For sure. But you live and learn, you know. So I couldn't get past certain features that I knew how, and he literally had to do a lot. He told me he was from India, and he was telling me today. He says, "Man, this was definitely broken." I said, "You're not kidding." So when I re-downloaded my cam, some features didn't come with it. But anyways, to get on to another subject, I have noticed a lot of times that, you know, especially when you're in streams where like people are promoting channels and things and you start adding channels, that sometimes you go back and watch some of these people and they're definitely not channels I would pick, you know, on a non-promotion. So I kind of I leave them. But I was having a talk with someone in chat because I reinstalled a chat program I haven't used in a while. And they remember who I am because we used to hang out and chit chat. And we had a great topic. You know, Tim, I love the emails you sent. I haven't got a chance to answer you today because most of the day has been busy. Wednesdays is a very busy day for me. But the one thing that I like to put out there, if anybody comes back and watches this live, is when you start out in a chat room, you pretty much learn a lot. You see a lot of fake people. You see a lot of real people. You see a lot of people who are just hiding. You see a lot of people who are really themselves. I never say stuff like this causes problems when you go into some places. Is like, for instance, I went into a chat room one time and this girl was talking and she made the comment that, you know, if a guy doesn't like watching two girls in a, you know, sexual situation, we shall say, then he must not be right. Okay, well, this is my point on things like this. I can't stand when people talk for everybody else because that's not true. I know some guys who just don't believe in watching two people of the same sex because they are kind of like an alpha male type. And they figure, why should another female do to a female what I can do? So that's not true. And I feel like people are like snowflakes. Like we all have our own opinions on everything. None of us have identical opinions on things. Some might agree on some things, but some don't agree on other things. So I go up into a stream on YouTube. And I have a lot more experience than what people realize in dealing with people on the web because of chat. So I think it's hysterical when people twist your words. And I felt like for the first time since I've been on YouTube since 2017, that I walked into a live fight room last night on here. Like, I have not seen so much BS conversation in my entire life since I was in a Yahoo fight room that a friend took me into. And it's sad. It really is, because the person that actually owns the channel was a very decent person and had a really nice content. And now this person is in with a really crappy crowd. And I think it's sad because that person is letting them take over her channel and they will destroy it. Whether she likes it or not, it's turning into something that it was never intended to be. It's sad that she doesn't see it though. Some people can't see the truth. So this person was typically saying this and that and the other. And I gave my opinion on something, and then they turned around. It was like all up on me because they didn't like what I had to say. They were saying that I was getting emotional, but yet they were the ones screaming on the mic the whole time. And I mean, this went on for hours because I literally left and came back. And the person still was talking about the same stupid subject. And so I was getting put down, and I wasn't even talking about what they were talking about in the end. They twisted it to a complete other subject. And it was awful. I was just sitting in there laughing at how stupid the whole thing sounded, period. And it's just sad because I actually modded for that stream and the person took my mod away. Like, I really care. I don't care to mod anyways. But the person took my mod away because that other person was being an a-hole, literally. And it was just awful. Like, you would sit in this stream and I swear your IQ would drop to 2. That's how bad it was. I just don't like channels like that. If people got to have drama or fighting and a bunch of stuff going on or being picky about stupid things, I just don't have time for it. I feel that life is too short for garbage, pretty much. But if a person does come to YouTube and they've never had chat experience, I really do feel sorry for them, because there are a lot of scammers. There are a lot of bad people here. They're not in all the channels I hang in, but I have seen some pretty bad things where people have, like, they've never even seen these people physically. They just see text. And just because this person may have hung around for a little while, there was a female that got involved in a couple big streams, and she literally took them for thousands of dollars, because that's what she was. She was a scammer and she was really good at it. I personally never met this person. I have seen them in the rooms I have been in, but I didn't know them personally, so they never ripped me off, because I'm not that easy to give my money up to just anybody. But you will always hear a lot of sad sob stories. And Tim, we just had a recent couple in another stream who pretended that she was being abused when she wasn't, just to get money off of people. So, and it's sad. You know, my outlook on the whole thing is, if it would ever come to a point that I would help someone, my intentions are my intentions. What they do with it, they have to live with. But don't be so gullible. I mean, for people on here, please watch who you get involved with. I remember back in the Yahoo days, we had a guy who met with this woman, and he was using it as a dating site. And he never even saw her on camera. He didn't even talk to her on the phone. They just texted back and forth, and he started buying her all this jewelry because he was new to the internet and he didn't understand all of it. And then he found out that she was married and lied to him the whole time. And he was out all that money. And to me, that, I don't feel that that person's stupid. I just feel that they weren't educated enough to understand what they were getting into on the web, because some people aren't. You know, they want to see the best in people, so they come on here sometimes, and that's what they have intentions. Me, I'm the total opposite. I don't trust anybody when I first meet them. To me, it takes time and it's earned, because I have learned in life, it's, you know, maybe that's why I always just stood back and kind of absorbed my environment, even in the workplace. Like, when I start a job, I don't just start talking to people right off the bat, you know, about stuff we're doing, yes, but personal stuff, I don't really talk about. I like taking in my environment and kind of, you know, finding out who the gossiper is and who the, you know, the hard worker is, and just kind of observing the type of personalities before I let people in. Yes, trust needs to be built. And it is sad, because a lot of people on the web are not good people, but then there's a lot that are. And to me, the good outweighs the bad as far as I'm concerned. But usually it takes me about, and I know it's hard, because, like, we used to have conversations like this all the time in chat rooms, believe it or not. When a person walks into a room and you know how you get the hairs on the back of your neck or just something radiates off of that person that you just don't like, you don't have that on the internet because you're not in the same room with them. So it's best to kind of listen to phrases, listen to how they talk, listen to how they speak, to, when, and then you just know, like, it's just weird. It's a knack I've always had since I've been on the web, and I'm sure other people do too. I'm not standing out or anything, but I just know within the first 5 minutes of talking to somebody if they're an idiot or not, and if they're going to be a part of my world or not. And it just doesn't take me long. And then sometimes, I used to do it in chat, and there was a girl that was watching me, and she was from Alabama, and she was like, I don't know how you do it. She says, it might take us 15 minutes later than you or a day later, but we always find out that person is not a good person, and you block them. Like, I just didn't have time for it, so I would block them. And I do the same thing on YouTube. I mean, sometimes I give an extra chance because I'm to a point where I'm just a laid back person. You know what I mean? But there's just some things I just don't want in my life. And I don't care if you're on the internet or you're off. If I don't like you, you're not in my life, period. And I might not have the block feature offline, but I can say you're not welcome in my home and just not have any part of you. So that's my block offline. So this guy last night, that was the thing he was running his mouth about, was he was sitting in the chat room saying something like about this very thing. And he was making comments like, I don't know, he was just speaking for everybody else. Like, one of the biggest conversations that we were having, and people can give me feedback, I don't care about that, but he brought up the N-word, in the Black community, that I don't like. And I told him it was just making a statement. I can't control what people do, obviously. I've known this for years. But the point is it comes off as very racial in some communities. And then sometimes in the Black community, it doesn't, because it's in rap songs. And I told him, I said, well, if it one person says it on YouTube, I have seen them blown up about this very topic. I have seen people, be put down and channels reported, and people lose, like their subscribers and things like that because of slipping and using the word supposedly or whatever. My preference is I just made a statement to fix the problem and to fix the issue. Why is it brought up at all? I don't think it should be in music. I don't think it should be used by any community. And if they just dropped it, then there wouldn't be no controversy now, would there? And because I made a statement, it was blown out of proportion. That I was boss of people trying to control them and tell them, no, I was not. It was my opinion. And then someone says, hey, TPG, well, I have the right of free speech. So if I want to use that word, it's just because you have the right of free speech doesn't give you the right to abuse it. That's like saying, okay, I read the Bible and I'm going to go break one of the commandments, and God's just going to forgive me because I'm already educated about it. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of an oxymoron when you think about it, because it just is. You know what I mean? The point I'm trying to get across. It is. It's like once you're educated about something and you see 2 + 2 equals 4 and that's factual, then why would you want to change the math to say that it equals something else when it doesn't? Because you were already educated. Where if before it was a slip, that's different. So that was my whole point that I was making, that it wouldn't be a controversy if it was never used again. It's that simple. And they turned it into something completely different. And this guy just went on and on and on. He was so ridiculous. So I left, and I was just like, my thing was, you can take your wrench and shove it up your ass. For the nice people in here, goodbye. For the rest, you can kiss my ass. And I basically left that channel, and I am not going back. Because it's just gone. Move forward. But for the people who do not have education before they come to YouTube, I have seen channels shut down. I have seen people leave because people like that have intimidated them. And I don't get intimidated. I have way more thick skin than what people give me credit for. It was crazy, Tim. It really was. But I had a good laugh at how stupid they sounded. That's what was even funnier, is they didn't even see the truth. And one person that did come in literally said he attacked her first because they saw it. I was just stating an opinion. And that person was like, he just came at her like and that was the only person that really paid attention besides a couple other people in there. I was like, whatever. But anyways, you won't get that treatment on my channel for sure. And you know who your true friends are too, especially when they have your back in bad situations. Whether it's on the web or not. But I don't know. I just thought the whole thing was crazy. It just kind of like took me back in time for a minute. And I thought, oh God, because I hated those type of rooms even on Yahoo. But I hope people that don't have thick skin don't end up in rooms like that, because it's awful. Because YouTube, to me, this is what YouTube means to me. YouTube is a place where you can teach people stuff, you can talk, you can make some really good friends. And to me, they didn't have live streams when I first came on. It was just where you could upload videos. Well, now they have it to where you have live streams. And I think live streams can be bad in some situations. It's good because you're connecting with people, but some of the people are turning them into chat rooms instead of what they're here for. You know what I mean? Because think about what you've used YouTube for. Me personally, I've come here to, do my store. I have come for do-it-yourself videos when I didn't know how to fix something, and they have good tips on here. Music. I've used it for music. I like some of the communities that's on here. Like they have the aquatic. They teach you. Like one of my favorite channels is Gotta Love Python. She is great with snakes. It's like story time hour with her. She made me appreciate snakes in a way I never would have if I hadn't met her through YouTube. I think twice before I chopped their heads off now. I mean, seriously, we were raised and you found a snake in the yard, you were running for a shovel. She's made me think in a different way, because she treats her pets like they're her dogs. I mean, and everybody loves their own lizards, rabbits, whatever they tend to want to own in different ways. So I've come to appreciate snakes a little more because of her channel. Well, a lot more because of her channel. But it's just, you come on here to learn and to just kind of hang out with people, I guess. But I don't ever want it to turn to where it's just a chat room, and people are bashing each other. Because I think that's the downfall of YouTube. That was definitely the downfall of chat rooms too. That's why most of them aren't around anymore. is because of all the fighting and the reporting and all that. And I'm seeing it becoming more common with YouTube because people are getting doxxed or they're getting swatted or people are doing stupid things to try to tear down other people's channels. And I think it's horrible because it's turning into like a big fight drama. And it shouldn't be. There's people you're going to get along with and people you're not going to get along with. And YouTube to me is big enough where you can avoid those type of people. I guess that's my thoughts and philosophy. But anyways, that's pretty much my chat on education on how to be with people when you're in live streams. It should be respectable. Especially when a lot of people on here, you know, you have a lot of famous people on here too. When you think about a lot of the bands that sing, and I know the Do It Yourself Network, I loved shows on there where people were restoring houses and things like that. So, you know, because I've even often thought what my channel would be about if I didn't have a bookstore. Like, what would I bring to YouTube? I don't know. I really don't. But right now, that's what I have. I have that, and I have a little bit of crafting stuff. And I do like supporting other channels because I feel that promoting channels, when I do my Welcome Wednesdays, you have to network to get your channel to grow. You can't just sit in a corner and think the numbers are going to find you. It's either by people who are tagging other people and bringing them in, or it's you going out into other channels and getting yourself known. And that's for people that want, you know, that they're in for the growth. So, you know, because you can sit idle. I see some really good channels that hardly ever move because they don't network. They don't get out and check out other channels and just go visiting, and they don't grow because they really don't know how to network. But I'm not talking sub for sub. I'm talking like literally going into other channels and getting to know people, leaving comments and finding what you like. Because I don't do the sub for sub crap. I really like going in, like even in Pusha Studios, when they have the wheel and they bring your channel up, I like even going into those channels, and I'll save later and try to go in and watch when I can to get to know people. Because I think it's nice. That's just me, though. So what do you think of YouTube since you've been here, Tim? What do you think, TPG? TPG is one of my favorite people. You missed it. Was you in here when I posted your channel, TPG? You're on my list this week. So I have watched like a lot of videos on the channels that I promote. Like I literally go in and study their content and stuff before they make my top 10 list. So some of them you might see over and over again. I might post them over and over. And I am going to be in a collab coming up this month. Tim, you will get to see my face instead of my hands. I have a friend in the makeup community that asked me to join into a collab with them. This is the second one I've done. The first one was on Instagram. So this one will be, I didn't really want to do a makeup look because I think I've done everything possible when I was in the makeup videos that I've done. So I did a skincare one instead. So it's going to be really cool because this person's doing like so many days, and I picked day 20. So I'll be on December 20th in a video. I already have it done, but I'm just saving it. I'm behind on some videos because when I formatted, I had to move them. So I have like some unboxings, but I've been doing some recent ones here lately, but I have a bunch I'm behind on because I do love the sales I've attended and, you know, bought stuff for crafting. But I won't be doing a lot of them in the near future because Ugh, I just got so much to craft with, and I've got like a tote filled with stuff that I need to get crafting, and I just haven't had the time with both jobs. So I don't think I'll be buying many crafts here in the near future. I got my stash built up for winter, pretty much. Sometimes I might see a book or a stray of something or a journal or, that, but I'm not going to be buying as much as I was. I'm taking a little break from shopping. I didn't have anything, and now I have a massive stash. My dining room is like half my crafting and half dining room. It's got a whole bunch of stuff in there to use. I need to actually do some happy mails too, but I haven't had the time to get stuff together. I like doing happy mails. They're fun. I call them Sunny Fun Time mails. There was a couple people I started working on a stash to send, but I never did get them finished yet. It's hard. It's busy. It's just hard to get stuff done when you're busy. But I have not got to work anymore in this book. I was going to put some pockets in here that I haven't got done yet. I had no clue what to work on tonight because my computer has been down and I just haven't had time to get anything together. So I'm kind of winging it tonight on just talking, or should I craft? But I love this book. I had fun making it. This was fun to upcycle. But I do want to put a couple pockets in it before it's actually finished. But this was fun. I love doing the mixed media. It is fun to talk. If I get a chance to, I'll try to scan in some Navy pictures when my husband was in the Navy and mail them to you. He got some good ones. He did a tour in a bunch of different countries. Back in the day. I like farming channels too. Farm All Fanatics, pretty funny. So what things you like to do? I think TPG left. I don't know where he went. He hasn't answered me. I see 7 people watching, but nobody saying nothing. You like coins? You would like Llama Monster. He sends the coolest mail. I just got a Christmas card from him. He gets a hold of hey Christine. He gets a hold of like foreign currency. Hey Sandy. And he mails it. And I think that would be so cool to go into like maybe a vintage journal or something at some point. I'd like to do something that goes with it. He sent me like dollars like from Venezuela. I mean, they're really cool looking, the currency he finds. How are you doing, Christine? Are you enjoying your book? And how are you, Sandy? And just so you know, Christine, I'm done with Jen's channel. I'm finished. So we won't discuss it anymore. She's got too many weirdos in her channel now. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm good now that I got my computer up and running again for the second time. I had everything done. And the part that wasn't working, this is what's funny, is I replaced the CPU fan. I restored it back to manufacturer. Okay, so it was running good. So then I just had to go into my MS config, and I was looking around, and then an update happened. So I clicked on the update, and after it installed, it knocked out my internet connection. You couldn't even troubleshoot. It was saying there was nothing there. And it knocked out my speakers. So I had no sound and I had no internet. I'm like, what the heck? Because it's like sitting right beside the computer. So when I called the tech, what had happened is when the update happened, it took out 2 check marks as far as the internet was concerned. So I had to go back and do that. And then because the manufacturer reset it instead of at a restore point, it had a whole bunch of updates because the Windows 10 that I was running from the manufacturer was from 2015 instead of 2019. So what happened was there was a bunch of drivers missing because I couldn't get nothing to work right. And I was like, what the heck? So the whole day today was spent on updating drivers and just a bunch of stuff. They had a remote assistant and he had to come in my computer and he went to set automatic updates and my computer refused. It kept saying error that it couldn't be done because it wouldn't even let me restore when the fan went out. It kept telling me that it would go through the process like it was going to and then say it was a bunch of errors. I don't know. It was a lot of work. So when he came in remotely, he goes, it is definitely broken. We went through a lot of different things. He had to even create a file just to get the updates to work. It was just crazy, but it was cool watching him do everything, remotely. So they came in and fixed it today, but it took hours. It's a long time. But finally, everything's working. I'm so happy. The only thing that didn't reinstall right was my camera, but I think it has to do with there's a download they don't do anymore. So like I can't record with my camera. I can only do the focuses and stuff. So he showed me another way to record through a Windows camera where I can use both of them together. So that's why I'm here. Because my camera didn't have a disc with it. And because it was set back to the manufacturer date, whether you guys know this or not, you know how you have your USB plugs where you plug in all your plugs into your ports. If the drivers are not updated for your USB ports, when you go to plug something in, you know how it says found new hardware and you click on it and set it up. My computer wasn't doing that because the drivers weren't updated. So when I went to plug my cam back in after it was restored, it wouldn't come up as new hardware to install. So we had to update all those drivers too. It was a mess, to say the least. Because I kept telling him, I was like, nothing will come in. Like I couldn't even, it wasn't even showing me like my external hard drives or nothing. Nothing in my USB was working. Sorry, I don't mean to talk shop, but it's simple. Computers are not that hard. It's just sometimes it's frustrating because it can be like a check mark to fix them. Nothing dramatic. It's just finding where those check marks are that gives you the migraine. Well, that sounds cool. Foreign currency is really awesome to look at. I think it would be even cool to see currency we used to have, like before wars and stuff, how they had different currencies back in the day. It's always something. But I'm having another live sale Tuesday, so that'll be coming up as long as everything stays working. It'll start at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, and I will have books and stuff again. I'm trying to get things together that I want to have for the sale. It's just been really hard. I'm like really behind. Tomorrow I'm going to be really working to get things set up. But I'm like liquidating books to get some of them out of my home. Because what people don't buy through YouTube or buy through the Facebook page that I post where my bookstore is, then I'm going to be donating a lot that doesn't get sold. I just need to get them moving. Took a while to get inventory built up, but now that I got enough inventory built up, it's time to move them out. I'm trying to free up my downstairs because I'm hoping in the future that I will have a craft area, and I might not right this second, but I am thinking about shutting my store down at some point because it's not making enough money, and it's just too I'm putting more out than what I'm bringing in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm putting more money into it than what I'm bringing into it. So it's a lot of work. Nope, I don't have any Where's Waldos. I don't even have any Diary of a Wimpy Kids, I don't think. I think those are cute too, but I haven't seen any come through yet. And what I get short on, I try to go pick when I have the time, and I haven't had the time to go picking for things either because my weekends I work my second job. So I'm working the hours or my places are open to go pick. So it's just a lot to keep up with. I love my store, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. We're just giving it a little bit of time. I think my store would be better if I was like retired and had like a retirement income to hang on, to have too, and then use it as a side. But to have it as a main business, it doesn't make enough for me to even pay into Social Security. So it's not getting me anywhere, if you know what I mean. It's more like a hobby store. So my other job, I like it because I do get that stuff taken out. Because I always wanted to hire somebody too, like maybe a part-time high school kid or, a college student or something so they can make money on the side. But heck, I don't even make enough money, let alone to pay somebody to come in. Books are just not a necessity. They're a luxury. But it was fun. I learned a lot. I can't say that I'm walking away from my store not learning things because I have. I've learned what it's like to build a business. I've learned what it's like to run one, to do it all. And, the hard way of getting some places. So it's definitely been interesting because I've always worked for someone else to know what goes into getting a business up and running, so I see both sides of the spectrum, you might as well say now. And I really feel for the people who get businesses up and running because it's a lot of responsibility, especially when you go to hire people and, you're responsible for their medical insurance and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I have to say kudos to big businessmen and women because it's not always easy. Yes, it was, Tim. It's been a learning experience, definitely. And then too, to take it to the web, it's been something to say the least. The roadblocks you run into, the cost, it's been an experience for sure. And I don't regret any minute of it either. Even the hard parts I don't, because that's what goes with it. It's how you learn. It's just really hard to do it blind when you don't have somebody around to help you through some things. It was rough at times. Nobody in my family. Why? I guess my great aunts one time, my mother told me on my mom's side of the family, I guess they did. I didn't think we ever had any business owners in our family, but I guess I had a couple aunts that ran a grocery store, and I didn't know that. It was like a small, wasn't like a big store. It was just a small store that they had where people would come in. And then on my dad's side, there were cousins who had a little store too with like penny candy. So it was kind of nice to know that, there was a couple other people that did, but of course, it was all before the web. I think advertising in the web was the hardest part. But once I got through it and found Etsy, I think Etsy's a lot easier than the first site I tried, way easier. But advertising was shocking. The amount that you put in to get your business off the ground was just crazy. I spent like $800 the first year, and it wasn't even a dent to put into advertising. It was crazy because it's not like you could go around the old days and put flyers on people's cars, because now they have alarms that'll go off and stuff. And plus, what people think when you're trying to steal out of their car. Like, it's not like it used to be. And I don't have time to go door to door handing out flyers. And the ones that I took out of the phone book was crazy, because even if you put to the resident of and you look up addresses in the phone book, half of them were bouncing back, because when Homeland Security kicked in after 9/11, it is messed up. There is a lot of areas. I don't know if it's just in my state or every state, but there is a lot of places that the addresses are really messed up in the white pages. Because I do believe even when I'm white paged with my name, 2 addresses come up still. Because I literally had to write into the white pages to tell them they had the wrong address. They got a bunch of lanes up here mixed up. I don't know who did it, and who's responsible, but I don't know if it was like our town hall or whatever, but they messed up a lot. There's one lane you can't even find online, and it's there. What you made for 43 years? Let me look. Gotta go check it out. Oh, it's on YouTube. I'll have to watch it later. I'll watch it because it's a link. Cool. I'm surrounded by military. On my dad's side of the family, I couldn't tell you how they're related to me. That's like a great, great, great uncle that fought in the Battle of the Bulge, which was the United States against Germany. And even though we got German in our blood, we were fighting for the United States side. And he got a Purple Heart. And it's 100 and something. I don't remember the name. I don't know if it was 109th or 100 and something. There was a letter my dad had, I remember reading, 1st Airborne. And I'm taking that's a pilot that was in my family too. And he wrote home, it's been so many years ago. I was like a teenager. We were doing genealogy. And I remember reading a letter that somebody wrote home. And I don't know if my dad still has a copy of it or not. He might, because it was in like a binder. I'd have to ask. But he had written home about what was going on. And I don't remember what war that was in. I don't know if it was the same person. I can't remember the connection. But I do know the Battle of the Bulge, this person's actually listed online. So I got to go read about it. And I had an uncle who was Air Force. And my husband was Navy. And I think that was it. On my uncle on my mother's side was Air Force. And then the pilot, I believe, was my dad's side of the family. So yeah, we have a lot of military. And then my cousin was married to a guy who served in Vietnam. And then one of my friends I used to hang out with, her dad was a frogman in Vietnam. Vietnam was so nasty. Ugh. But I met a person on Yahoo. It was funny because they came into a chat room and they were talking about their birthday. It just gabbing, and said something if anybody ever wanted to talk to instant message them. And I usually don't do that for a random person, but he seemed like a nice guy. So I thought, I'll say hi. So I did, and I wished him a happy birthday. And the next thing I know, literally, Tim, we were up half the night, him telling me about when he was a door kicker in the military and how it messed him up. And he suffers a really bad from post-traumatic stress disorder. And to listen to his story was amazing. I'm not going to repeat it because it was told in confidence, but it was like, wow, there are so many people that need counseling, but not from, and I think this is where the problem lies. They need somebody who has been there and not somebody that just holds up a clipboard talking down to them, if you know what I'm saying. And I think that's where a lot of the problems come in when it comes to the VA, because it's not the same as being there. And that's the feeling I got when I was talking to him. Like, to open up the things that he did, that takes a dramatic measure of trust. And we became friends. We became such close friends. He would call. He would call me on my phone and we would talk. We were friends for a really long time. And then he was just going through some things, and I don't know, just one of those things that drifted. And then he sent an email, and then I never heard from him again. But he was going through some other personal issues too. So, but it's hard. It's really hard for these guys to come back and try to adjust to a normal life through it all. He told me, he says, I can't believe that you're not a counselor. I said, nope. I said, I'll be here to listen, but I don't have that kind of experience. I've never been there. So I can't. I wouldn't even touch that. I said, I'll be a friend, but that's it. The only thing I've got my degree in is I used to work in the mental health field, and I used to be a counselor for the mentally ill, people with bipolar and stuff like that, because I've been around that too. But I wouldn't even begin to do military. They just went through such horrible things. I can't even imagine. So they told him, nope. Friends, that's it. I'll listen. Not even touching it. I heard too many horror stories about it to even begin. But I do think it's sad, But I have a lot of respect for our military people. I just think that I don't think everybody thinks the same, because some go in for an education, some go in thinking, oh, I'm big and bad, I'm gonna blow up everything. And those are the people that have the rough time right there, because it's not a video game, it's reality. And I think a lot of them think what they think it's about, it isn't. And then I'm sure that there's people who do get a lot of surprises, but just listening to the stories that I've heard was enough. To say the least, it was enough. I wouldn't even want to even go through half of that stuff. And I think too, though, by sharing those types of stories with someone who's a stranger, I mean, like, who am I going to tell anyways? Because it's not like I knew anybody personal he knew, And I think it's easier sometimes when people come on the web to talk to people that are strangers, because it's easier for them to open up because they know it's not going to be repeated. But I just think that when I think, I know this might sound crazy, but the irony of that, and like I had an aunt who, she suffered with Crohn's disease, and she was single for a long time, and she went through some really rough times, but took care of herself. And her daughter became an RN, I believe, because of it all. And she sterilized all her stuff, when she ended up with a coloscopy bag and everything. So, to me, the irony of listening to what military people have went through and their horror stories, listening to people who survived with illnesses, and she didn't even have a husband to take care of her. She did this herself. Every time a bad situation happens, where I get to feeling sorry for myself and say, I can't do this, I think of those things. And that's what pushes me forward, if that makes any sense. I'm like, who am I to gripe about something so stupid and so less, when there's people out there putting their life on the line, saving the country, and there's people dying of diseases, and yet they're making, you know what I mean? It's that, to me, is my push. When I think I can't do something and I look at these people and what they go through, and they did do it, that's what gives me the courage to get through some of the things I need to do, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? I think about military guys freaking freezing their butts off. You know what I mean? They're freezing and they're going through all these things. And I'm thinking, I couldn't even probably pass some of these tests that they even go through to even be in the military, especially when you look at the specialists in the military, And then I don't know. It's my push to get me through it. So whenever a hard obstacle comes up, that's what I think of. Oh, geez. Well, there you go. You got an important job. Yeah, I do care. My husband tells me sometimes I care too much. You're quite welcome. He tells me I'm too deep. I tell him he's too shallow. Because I do think about things like that. I can't help it, I mean, you look at some of even the training they have to go through when they're out in the ocean, and they have to be in that water that's freezing degrees doing push-ups. And I think of things like that, and I'm like, okay, your problem is so simple compared to that. It's crazy. Or in the middle of combat and what people have to go through and the horrors that they have to live with. I just can't even imagine. And my aunt, what was funny about her is I remember when she died, we were in the room with her, and okay, now get this. The textbook, if you read a medical book about people who have Crohn's and people who have a whatever it's called, coloscopy bag or whatever, because she had a lot of her, her intestines removed and stuff, because Crohn's is like cancer. It kept coming back. When my aunt, her sister, was sitting in the room and the nurse was telling her, she's like, well, they were talking about her Crohn's. She lived a long life. She was diagnosed in her 40s, and I forget how old she was when she died. She was up there. And the nurse was like, that's just not possible. This is what she's telling her sister. And she's like, well, it is possible, because this is when she was diagnosed. And she's like, well, according to the textbooks and the medical journals, they only have so many years they can live once. And she says, because infection sets in. That's the thing. That's why a lot of them don't live past certain years. But my aunt took and disinfected everything. She had this great big tray, like you would see it, kids' lunch trays, but smooth, the great big ones that you carry your plates on. She would sterilize everything and lay it out on this tray that she needed to hook herself up and everything. And because she was so careful with her own care, that's why she lived so many years. But I just thought it was funny that this lady kept like insisting that we were lying. Like my aunt was lying when she said this. I'm thinking, do you believe everything you read? Because not everything goes textbook. You know what I mean? But I thought it was interesting that they would think that that couldn't be possible. What it apparently it was. Miracles do happen. But I just think, she had a long life and that woman worked. She worked and took care of herself through all of that. Good for you. That's awesome. I will be right back. So give me a second. I think my dog needs to go out to take a pee. So give me a few minutes to come right back. Don't leave. All right. Well, hey, Fishy. How are you doing? Sorry. I was out taking my Poochie out, and then I found these on the way. So guess what I'm going to do? Let me see if I have green. This might work. No, that's too blue. We'll just go with white. Well, thank you. I got a couple note cards. This is what's nice about upcycling. And I had some napkins that I bought. That I just come across and thought, yep, I'm going to do something crafty. Hey, Bonnie. Oh, I mentioned upcycle, and here comes the upcycle lady. Yeah, don't it? Isn't that cute? We were on the same page with turtles. I was watching the cutest video, Bonnie from Artie Mays. I put her in my top 10 tonight on my Welcome Wednesdays. She was making gesso from scratch. And it was so cool because like it got too thin because her glue was too thick. And she was showing how she fixed it with a pinch of that and a dash of that. Kind of remind me of cooking crafts. Yes, this is cool because it's got like turtles all over it. Isn't that cute? So what you do, I don't have tape in here because you could use tape to do this too, is you check and see the ply. Well, cool. Welcome back. Oh, that's nice. I like watching people draw too. So you take off the layer. Every time I buy my napkins, I will read how many plies they are. Sometimes they tell you, sometimes they don't. But this to me feels like a 2-ply, so we're just going to guess. And I'll tell you, it's really fun because like the Dollar Tree and different places, they have some pretty good napkins. I actually found this one place online that does, but I can't get an order right now because it's like by bulk. But oh, do they have beautiful napkins. So this is how I do it. I'm going to make a pocket for this particular journal, and I'm going to use note card for some reinforcement, and I want to put a turtle because if you look at this, see this? This fits like perfect to make a pocket on this page. Anything will do. You could even use junk mail if you want to, as long as it like fits almost the width. Or you can make it a side pocket. There's like so many things you can do with these. But I'm going to make a pocket right here because I think the turtle will match. And this has got yellows in it, pinks, blues. And we have a green turtle, or we have a peachy turtle. And I kind of like the green turtle better. So what I'm going to do is put it over my card and see exactly where it fits. This is how I like to do them. So this one here to me looks good just like that. So then I'm going to take my glue. There's two different ways you can do this. Oh, it is not. This is fun. You can use Mod Podge if you want to. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But today I'm just going to use regular Elmer's and show you how I do this real quick. Sometimes people can take a brush over top with a Mod Podge, but I think it gives it like way too much of a glossy look. So I personally, this is how I would do it. Bonnie, how are you doing? How's your dad? Is he being ornery still? I wish I was in Australia. I would so come pick on your dad. I'd tell him to tell me all the ornery little stories of you growing up, Bonnie. So you got to be careful exactly how you lay this down, because all I can say is this. Once you stick a napkin, it's stuck. So you want to be careful. And you do got to be real careful with napkins anyways, because they're, you know, daintier than paper and they will rip easy. So what I do is just take this over, smooth it out with my fingers, or you can even take the bottom of the glue bottle, since I don't have no credit cards or anything sitting beside me, and smooth out the bumps. I kind of like a little bit of a crinkle look, but this is cool. It's amazing what you can create with napkins. That's all I have to say. I tell you, I love it. Tim, he knows I'm a lefty. Since I've got, did I tell you I got a job? I got another job, Bonnie. I'm so excited because I built my store when I first started. I was working with assisted living patients, taking care of my elderly people. I love their stories. And this was so weird how this happened. Is I put out an ad in a company that popped up in my email, and I set up a profile because I only wanted weekends, or I could do overnight, but I just can't do during the day through the week. So we have a place not too far from where I live, and I sent it an email and said, if you happen to need anybody on the weekends, I would be interested in a part-time job. I said, but I can't do full-time. And I, said a nice thing out and told him that, I own my own business. Well, I never thought I would hear from him, because some places I don't know if they have to have, licenses or anything, like nurses, aides, LPNs, or whatever, because I don't have any license. I just got some experience working like an aide. And so I get a message back a few days later from that same place, and here it was a new husband and wife team that were buying that particular place out, and the day they closed was the day I sent my email. So they hired me to come in and work, and it's 12-hour shifts, so it's long days. But they're, they kind of walked into a mess, and they're cleaning it up, and I know what it's like to start a business. We had like a 2-hour interview. It was great. They are such a great couple. Both of them were there. They questioned me about things. We had a great talk. And then I got hired. A couple of days later, I was so excited. So I've been working there now, and I had so much fun. But, then you got to go through tests. I had to take a food handler's test. I'm like, do we ever get away from tests ever? Fishy, realize this. You never outgrow tests. So I had to go take a test, and I passed my food handlers, but it was interesting, the things I even learned on food handlers, because I just feel you could always learn. You know, nobody ever knows everything. And it's just so funny because one of the questions on the food handlers, something I do all the time, and it's really a big no-no. Um, and I think it could go either way. It's just when you're in a nursing home, you know, and you have to have state and it's different. But like I've always unthawed my food on the counter. Like I put my meat on the counter and I let it unthaw for like so many hours and then I put it back in the refrigerator. I didn't know that was a big no-no. The reason why though is because back in the day we didn't have a defrost on a microwave. So like my mom always did that. She would lay out stuff for like 4 hours or so and then stick it back in the refrigerator. I didn't know that was a no-no. My food never got cross-contaminated or anything like that. But I just thought it was interesting that, you know, they leave it in the refrigerator to unthaw. And I go, well, that would take a couple days because I'll tell you right now, if I leave something even in overnight, it's not unthawed yet. It takes 2 days to unthaw in the refrigerator. So usually I would lay it out on the counter for like a few hours and then I would stick it in the refrigerator like at bedtime and then, you know, leave it in the refrigerator overnight. But I always did it on the counter. And when I took that food handler's test, that's a big no-no. And I was like, oops. So you always learn something. So anyways, yeah, big no-no, Tim. So I think we might have to take CPR. I'm not sure. CPR is not cheap. That's an expensive class for a company to have to pay for. So I don't know how that's going to go because I've taken CPR several times, but for some reason I never got my card. And I think it's the cost. So I mean, I know how to do CPR. I think they've updated some things though, because I think the last one I took, they had a defibrillator incorporated, which I had never played with before. So that was something different. So anyways, sometimes you get these jagged edges. So what I do with these, just to make it even, is I just cut around the edges as close as I can and as straight as I can, which I don't cut very straight, but oh well. And then up the sides. I can cut in, but I would rather do it this way because sometimes napkins are not fun. They'll give like a little hole. If I cut too close. I will do this piece though. But like, look how cute that is. That is nice and that is cute. And it's all done with a piece of napkin and a note card. So then you go over to the book and look how cute that looks as a pocket. Love it. So then I will take my favorite glue, which by the way, Artie Mays has this as one of her favorites too. Is I love Aleena's tacky glue. For some reason the lid's off of this. I don't know. This might be almost empty, but we'll find out here shortly. I should have left it set up. Remember the lid. My lids tend to pop off my glues for some reason. Come on. Give me some glue. I like this one here because it holds. Like I do this glue on fabric. I like Fabri-Tac, but I like this too. And then go across. This is just simple stuff. This isn't nothing majorly new. And then you take and flip it. and you make a pocket. And then what's nice with this is a tag Katie made. This is off of a notepad too. Look how pretty that is. Katie Chaba 5 made this. I love her little tags. I think they're adorable. She's got a little corner up here, a key, lace, a button. Is that like not fun? Like, that's cute. And this could be a corner tuck where you could glue it here and then slide something in it. But for now, I'm going to show you what this does. I'm not going to keep this particular one in this book, but I will create a tag to slide in here. This is kind of testing my glue abilities. It's just going to take a little bit to dry down, but I'll have a tag not so bulky to slip in here. And it could have fishies on it too. You never know what I'll put on it. Sometimes down here, this is one thing that's nice about napkins though. Is down at the bottom. If this sticks up any, napkins are so thin that the glue goes through it. So you don't have to go under. You can go over top and glue those edges down that didn't quite get glued down. So there. Done. Got a pocket. Cute. Love it. Yeah, I don't know what happened to them. I kind of wish the tacky glue didn't have a piece that it has a piece that sits on it. It's not like Elmer's where you know, turn it. So we'll leave that sit there. And then you can take and you can use the rest of your napkin. Like I'll use another one. There's even a shell on here. Isn't that cute? Like a little seashell. So I'll wait till this dries a little bit and see where else we need a pocket. And I might do the peach one next. We shall see. You can get a lot out of one napkin. So let me move this. There's so much talent on here. Michelle's got some cute tips on her channel too. I need to get to watching some more. She takes the inside of markers out in one of her videos and makes color with it. It's really pretty. Really innovative ideas. I know one night I was sitting here and I used to dye papers orange and I couldn't find anything in my house that would make it orange. So I decided to hit the store because I didn't have food coloring or anything that color. And I decided to buy Jello. Well, Jello didn't work. It didn't turn my paper any color. So I happen to have another product. I'm not going to say what it is. It'll be a surprise. But I had another product sitting in my house and I thought, oh, I wonder what that would look like. And, you know, mixed with my water that I can dip. And sure enough, it worked. And it was really pretty. My orange came out really nice. So I found a new way to make orange. I was pretty happy about that because the one thing I was using, they don't sell it anymore. So this here is nice because people can journal or put pictures. This could be either turned into a journal or a glue book. It doesn't matter. Some people like gluing pictures to pages to tell their story or collect their favorite things rather than write. I tend to like to write in my journals. This one here, I want to keep it pretty simple. I have a lot of side pockets and things like that. I think I'm going to pretty much leave this blank, except for just a few pages. I might put some pockets on. I don't want to decorate this up much because I might end up putting this one on my live stream for sale at some point. And whoever gets it, I want them to do what they want with it. So we shall see. But I do enjoy these ones. I have so much fun making these ones. I like people to journal and have something to look at. So this here is where I might put my second one. Yes. See, you could even do a crafty thing on your channel too, Tim. That would be exciting. I love watching people's ideas. And here, I think, because this one doesn't have a lot of bright colors, it has more dark, that I might do the peach turtle. See, this one back here had a lot of colors, so I kind of went a little darker. You should. You know, one thing I always wished I could see somebody like do from the beginning is one of those ships in a bottle. I think those are so cool. And I kept wondering when I was younger, how the heck did they get the ship up with the sails and stuff? And it's really cool because they have a string. And once they get the sails and everything, they pull the string once it's in the bottle and it pulls the whole ship up. I think that is so cool. My brother used to do model cars. He loved those things. The glue stunk. Model car glue stinks. But you know what? I kind of like this one down here too. Because this has got like the peach turtle, but then it's got the turtle head on the green one. I don't know. Maybe if I push it up a little bit. About right there. That'd be cute. Yeah, they pull them. I think that's awesome. I think this one I'm going to just use if I got enough in this bottle. I got more of this. I just don't know where it's at right this second. They sell this at the Dollar Tree, but it's the white glue. It's not the clear. Which is really nice because when I first found this, it was a lot. Then it dropped in Walmart. I think it's like $1 something. And now they have a little bottle of it. You can get it at the Dollar Tree. I mean, you do get more when you buy it from Walmart, but I'm at the Dollar Tree more than Walmart. Come on, come out. There we go. This glue is like great. It's like a perma glue. Except this time I'm going to take it more to the edge. I just love this glue. I've tried different kinds just to get a feel for ones that's out there. The only one I don't like is the Aleena's Fabric Fusion. It's way too liquidy. It doesn't work that great. I just couldn't get it to work on my fabric. Not like I have Fabri-Fix, which is also like Fabri-Tac. So we're going to move the book out of the way for a second. I'm going to lay this down. I want to chop the head off of this one. You got to be real careful with napkins. They rip way too easy. But I got a big crinkle in this one, so. Oh, come on. There we go. very gently take this over. Yeah, it's funny. My daughter has a turtle that they found, and they put it in an aquarium and they feed it and stuff. And they didn't know it. One night they heard a little tink tinking off the glass in the aquarium, and they went down to check it out. Apparently it is a snapping turtle, by the way. And here a snake had gotten into the house, and it was just a little one. I guess it went down into the tank, probably thinking it was going to eat the turtle. Well, the turtle surprised it and snapped its head off. That's how my daughter's husband found the turtle and the snake. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's too funny. That would have been a heck of a video. Protected their house. I said, you got to protect a snake. It's like a watchdog. I thought that was cute. This is still a little wet. I don't have one of those crafty blow dryers that they use to little heater thingies to dry things quickly. So I'm going to cut this a little wet, but I'm okay with it. Did Bonnie leave us and I missed it? You like me, Tim. You like to gab. Some people just like to come in and watch and they don't say much. And what's cool is you can even turn envelopes into pages, and you can use pieces of this. Like even a piece like this can be used as a decoration. So I will save this. Me too. I used to get those little check marks when I was a kid. Shows growth and self-control. Remember those? Report cards where you talk too much to your friends. I was always in trouble. But that's okay. I just wish I had all the letters. What I wish I would have kept was all my little letters from my friends. I still have some. But all the notes and stuff, like my husband, I didn't keep any of them. I should have. But we broke up one time and he made me mad. And I burnt all the letters he ever wrote me from the Navy. Is that like not terrible? I had a lot. It was even on, it had Navy heading paper. It was like a really pretty blue paper with a naval heading. And I could kick myself. But you know, when they make you mad. I didn't think we'd ever end up together. That's the thing. And I got rid of them all. I got rid of a lot just because I think of the clutter too. It wasn't even just fighting. There was a lot of like friends letters I got rid of out of high school because I just didn't have no place to store them. And this shall go on this page. But now I wished I would have kept them. The letters written to home. I had a lot. I did. He'd pass me in the hallway and hand me a letter. I don't have any of them. just a glimpse back at our 15 and 16-year-old selves. I met him when I was 15. He was 16. So we had a lot of letters. I glued this one up a little too high, but that's okay. I'll just have to unstick it. This one here is not really that centered, but that's okay. I think what I'm going to do is maybe find something for the edges later. We shall see. This one's stuck to my finger. I'll have to dress it up. Either that or with maybe, I don't know. We'll find something. But I'll leave it like this for now. And where did that piece go? We'll try to just use one of these since it's thinner. Make sure that side doesn't stick. But yeah, this will be cute for a tag pocket. I've been thinking about making a different type of book, but I don't know how I'm going to pull it off yet. I need to sit down and play with different items. Because I don't know if I want to sew the pages in or maybe use a binder. I can't really decide. I started working on it and then I quit because I didn't like where it was going. Get glue on my fingers. But I'll think about it a little bit. Sit down and play with some stuff before I figure out how I'm going to do it. It's kind of like a memory book, but I don't really know if I want to go and I don't know, because the glue books are cute too, but I don't know how I'm going to do this. Can't figure it out just yet. Tim, I wasn't meaning my real credit cards. I mean, like, you know, the little ones that you get in the mail that are fake, or they'll give you a coupon that's like as thick as a credit card. And then sometimes you get those pretend ones that'll say this is not a real card. Those are the ones I like using. I don't use my real ones. You're funny. I get so much junk mail. I was just telling somebody on her stream the other night. I filled up, just because of Christmas, a quarter of a bag of garbage in like 2 days. Like one of those white in the tall kitchen. Yeah, or a gift card. The tall kitchen bags. I filled up a quarter of them already. Just in magazines and advertisements for credit cards and stuff. It's ridiculous. I go out to my mailbox sometimes. It's like crazy with junk mail. I feel like you put your information out for one magazine and then you get 5. Like I ordered from this one place online, and the next thing you know, I got 5 more magazines coming. You know they sell you out. That's cute. But this was fun to do. Because all my past lives, everybody get to see this one done from scratch to finish. And then what I'll probably do, I don't know if I'm going to tie this one. Because sometimes I like taking my Crop-A-Dile and then putting a tie on it, or just leave it like this. But I think that looks better with a couple pockets in it. I just don't want to embellish this a lot. I thought about putting note cards in the pocket. I don't know. We'll see. But this is good hiding places. If you got like a stash of bills or letters, you can shove them down into these pockets. I only put these paper clips here so people would know where the pockets are. One of these you probably could take, and if you wanted to, you could probably tab the ends of cards and put them in here where the tabs stick out. That's an idea. There's so many different things you can do with this. I love this book. I love these books. I just do. I think they're fun. I mean, who wouldn't want to write in a journal that's got pictures? And this is my only Under the Sea, and that's how many pockets there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 side pockets. 1, 2, 3, 4 up and down pockets. And then whatever on these bent ones. I don't know how many of those I did. So there's lots of pockets to hide stuff. Well, see, that's what I said. My husband would tell me, if you can't remember, take notes. I said, well, what are you supposed to do if you lose the notes? See, this is what I've been practicing at my age now. He keeps losing his keys. And I'm like, you have a dresser. Why don't you set them in the same spot? Get yourself trained now so that when you lose your memory, you'll go to that spot. And he does it all the time. He's always running around right before work looking. I don't. I know where all my stuff is. I put it in the same place. But one day I freaked out because my purse always sits in the same place and it wasn't there. And I'm like freaking out because I never, ever not put it in that spot. And here what had happened was my coat, I put my coat up over the chair that I keep it on, and it knocked my purse on the floor. So it was actually under the chair. But I still found it. But I was freaking out. So I told my husband, my purse is gone. I said, did you touch it? And he's like, no. Okay, the ghost did. We always say that too. But it wasn't. It was me. I knocked it to the floor. But this is what it looks like. All done and finished. But I might stick note cards in it. I don't know. I have these really cool note cards I have on my computer downstairs. All I got to do is print them and stick them in the pockets. And it could be hidden places to write stuff. And then once I do that, I could probably tab or something. I don't know. Depends on how they look. I'll have to try one. Well, there you go. You could do that too. You could put extra pages if you have a lot to say and stick them in there. Or you could use these pockets for like cards. The only thing is you got to watch it doesn't get too big, too bulky. That's what I like about this one. It's not bulky. It's got room for growth. It's not flat, but it's not too bad. Should have seen my Halloween one. That thing was huge. I love my dumpster diving friends. Did you see those cards I pulled out today? Yes, keepsakes. And then here's my kitty cat journal. I haven't got to do any more with this one yet because I haven't got to go through my pictures yet. This is my kitty cat. When I see what happens as you add more stuff, this gets fatter and fatter and fatter. They call it alligator mouth. But this is my Hope and Heather memory book for my 2 kitty cats that I miss terribly. And I wanted it to be part Halloween and part fall. So I made it fun. I had fun with this one. I really did. And then I'm thinking about taking and maybe putting some things in here if I come up with extra things. Like I have all their vet stuff. Look how cute this is. I had so much fun with this book. I don't really do Halloween. I just like the stuff. Like I like making stuff with the items. But we don't have trick-or-treaters here anymore. This was a card that Vintage Kim sent me. I have no clue where she got these teeny weeny little cards, but they were perfect. And then these I think I found on eBay. These little Halloween tags with the black kitty cats. Are these like not cute? They like fit in here perfect. This was a spider I fussy cut it out of a magazine. And then just had fun with it. This was a ribbon I found at the Dollar Tree. Thanks, Christine. And then this is what I put 2 of the things that I bought off of Katie's live sale in here, like the one I showed you before. She made these too. I think these are really adorable. And then I just had fun with it. This was like a magazine cutout with the cat and the pumpkin. And then I cut this off of the side pages and made it a border for a picture. And then there's out of a magazine. I think that was on a t-shirt. Out of a magazine, the cat with the little magic crystal ball. And then here's 2 more tags. I love my cats. I loved them so much. Look at my Hope. She's posing in this picture. I love that picture of her. She used to lay at the top of our staircase because our last house had a staircase, and she would literally look at you upside down with her head in between the wooden railing. And she would just lay up there and look at you with her eyes all glowy in the dark. I loved her. She was so loving. Oh, they're awesome. Their little pans aren't so fun, but they're awesome. This here was an advertisement. This was just one of those advertisements that fell out. I think it was like a Bradford exchange or something where you buy the night before Christmas. I just loved the advertisement and turned it into a pocket. Fell out of a magazine. I should do a glue book once. Just sit down and pick out all the things that I find and just glue everything in a book. And then here's the other. See, that's like me. I do so much better when my heart's into something. Like, you know, this was fabric that I bought off of Katie's sale. And then she had this and I put it over top of it because I just thought it gave it a cool look. Like a mesh. And turned that into a pocket. And this came off a Crafter Square. I have no clue what that came off of. I'm always cutting stuff. Like if I have magazines and stuff that come in my bookstore, I cut pieces out of magazines and use them. This was a fabric pocket. I just got random stuff stuck in these. And then this here I thought was cute because of them both being gone. This came out of a magazine, and this is like a stone you could order. And it says, "Those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day, unseen, unheard, but always near, still loved, still missed, and very dear." It was like an obituary type statue you could put on a grave, but I really love the picture. So I got my pockets done, but I just need to fill them with random stuff. Then this here was part of this particular book. It's actually a saying, and I just left that page. I only have a couple of those, Tim. I didn't see them in a lot of bands. See, look at you. We're going to have you make a junk journal yet, Tim. Christine, have you ever made one? And then it goes into the fall themes. And then I have fall items added that I've randomly. They're either stickers or things I found out of magazines, or this here was in a bag of leaves I got from the Dollar Tree. This was the front of a Thanksgiving greeting card. I cut that off and put it in there. Just random stuff. And here's the cats. It says charming. Like, I'll cut words out. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. I want to make it special because they're my kitty cats. I even have a sparkly page. But these are all random. And I'll probably put some more pictures and stuff in this when I get the chance. This is a work in progress. It says, "A bewitching autumn. Stop in for a spell with a cat and a boo." I got these out of magazines too. I just cut stuff up all the time. If I don't have any customers in the store and I'm not cleaning and going through books, I'm cutting stuff. So that's what I got done for this book so far. I think it's turning into a wonderful memory book. I don't have an envelope up here right now, but like, I'll go through junk mail when I'm in my store, because that's where I do all my mail too. And I'll have like a big envelope, like, you know, something like where you get your bank, how it shows you your checks and stuff in them, how big those envelopes are. I'll set it up on my desk, and as I'm going through things like books, magazines, people bring me stuff. I'll get like magazines that have pages missing and stuff, and I'm not going to resell those unless it's just the address and it's not taken away from something, because some people do like cutting their addresses off for some reason. I keep telling them not to because I have a Sharpie and I know how to use it, but they do it anyways. And I just go through them and I start cutting stuff out and I start stuffing those envelopes with whatever. And then I bring them upstairs and I go through them as I'm working on projects. So that's where I got most of these little cutouts from. That's why I say magazines inspire me, because I got so many of them in my store that I'm always going through them. And I am still yet to do this too. This is a project on my bucket craft list, is I will do one of these one time. I want to take a popular science or a popular mechanics, and I want to build a journal with it. It's just, this is my problem, and I will admit it, so you guys can hear it here first. I have a very hard time taking things apart that are not falling apart. I have taken a book that I tried to sell, and when I looked at it, it was like, it didn't really have that great of a title to it. It didn't look very informational. So I didn't have a problem gutting that particular book. But when it comes to stuff like this, because to me, these are like a blast to the past. I mean, look, this was 15 cents. This is, what is the copyright on this? 1942. So, you know, when you go back and you start looking through this kind of stuff, this is like a blast to the past to me. This is like walking like when my parents were growing up. And I just have a hard time taking them apart unless they're already falling apart. There's been things that's passed that I bought like at live sales, and I just can't bring myself to do it because it's a part of history. Some people it doesn't matter to, but some things don't, but then some things do. Exactly, Tim. And my store started saving. It was about saving the books, not tearing them up. But I do have a couple of these that are falling apart. And I think they will be so cool to take and make a book out of. Weld it. My husband's a welder. I see welding stuff all the time. But like, this is so cool. Look at this. A soapless soap. That's so funny. Used, dissolved in water. Trisodium phosphate removes grease and dirt from the hands of mechanics. It will not hurt scratches and cuts. In fact, it hastens healing. I would just slap on some Gojo if I had grease. I remember my dad had a great big can of Gojo flipped upside down, and we would pump it like a soap dispenser. I loved getting dirty with him. He would have like spray rust proof stuff inside of his truck doors, and I loved working in the garage with my dad. It was so much fun. I don't know much about mechanics and cars. I just like the dirty part. And look at that Santa Claus. Now you can give Popular Science for your Christmas gifts and pay after January 1st. And it's got this little stuck envelope inside of it. 4th Avenue in New York. I wonder what sits there now. You have a flying wing. Oh, that sounds fun. Look at this. Island outposts bolster our Pacific defenses. It's got some military stuff in here. Look at those planes and that ship. There's a ship. This was the USS Houston. Heavy cruiser looks over Cocos Island. It approaches the Panama Canal. Ew. Digging deep for limestone. Explosions on the sun to solve the mystery of the aurora. Is this like not cool? It is. It's such a blast through the past. Look at all this good stuff. How Canada is fighting Hitler. Oh boy. That would have been an interesting time to live in. Looky here. Now quick dried foods. Just a few years ago, science gave us quick frozen foods. Now we have magic quick drying processes that drive out the bulky moisture while leaving the flavor and vitamins. They've always messed with our foods. Oh, look at that. Here's my story. The career of John Hayes Hammond Jr. And it's like a comic book. That's just like the old highlights. You would go through and it would have the timber tops, and it would have mystery pictures you had to find, like hidden pictures. These books are like all over the place. Talks about cars, and you have comics. These are the good books, you know. 7 handy tips for car owners. This is so cool. Look at that choo-choo train. It's got a face on it. All right, Tim. Well, thanks for stopping. And I hope you have sweet dreams. Yeah, I'm going to have to go soon, too. This was fun. I love this kind of stuff. And my sale will be next week, so I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm going to have to plan a little better. And I'm glad to be back on because I do miss my lives. We got 4 people here. We got lurkers, Tim. You be well and you be safe too. And thank you for coming in. Thanks for the chat. Who else is in here hiding? Come out of them corners. Christine! So what kind of things you like to craft? Didn't you tell me you like to crochet? I think that was you that told me you like to crochet. Anybody can jump in on these conversations anytime. I hope they don't feel like I'm only talking to one person at a time. I like when we get a chat going. I can't knit, but I can crochet. A little bit. Well, do you knit? I thought you did one of those. Embroidery. Embroidery is fun too. Heck, you could do linens, lady, and sell them. I'm telling you, like any type of embroidery on like napkins and things like that, people love that stuff, especially in some of the live sales we have. That's why I like going to different ones because every different seller has something different. But embroidery is a big hit. I know when I get them on like the hankies and they're like down in the corners on the edges, people love that stuff. Those are fun too. Coloring's fun. I think it's very stress-free. You know? Especially like on rainy days too. I don't know. I just find peace in coloring. I think it's fun. I have some adult coloring books. They get some really nice ones out. Ugh, excuse me. Some people even use those as journaling pages too. If you could make a junk journal, what kind would you make, Christine? Would you like the kind that you sewed? Do you like the altered? I think you could do one. I think it'd be cool if you did one and showed it on your channel. Using your adult coloring pages would be cool in them too. Those are called eclectic, where you have like different size pages and different styles. That's what Junie's real big in, or JD. She does a lot of eclectics. I've done a couple, but these here are altered. But I would like to try to do a glue book once too. I tell you, I think it's Rosemary Morris that does the glue books that are really cool. I've never played with one. I think I'm going to take and Google it. I think what they do is they can texture the page with like gesso and spray stuff on them. And kind of like a scrapbook where they just glue stuff in it. But I don't know if they use the book pages to do it or if they just make a book with pages and do it. I don't know which one I want to do. But I think a glue book would be fun. For some reason, my fan, man, it will run and then it runs hard. I replaced it. It should be running easy. My CPU fan. It goes loud and then it goes soft again. It's weird. I think his computer's hard on fans for some reason. And then the one I'm keeping too is I got this one as a memory book. This is more like a picture book. I probably won't have a lot of writing in this one because it's a memory book. But this is the one I'm keeping that I chose to keep out of my nature one. Because I did a set of 3. And Patty got the first one, and I'm keeping this one. So this was number 2. And then the Under the Seas number 3. I don't know if I'll do another nature book or not. Because I do like the nature books. I like the size of this book. This is a 7.5 by 9.5, which is bigger than what I normally pick. But I do like the size of this. This has got a lot of my favorite things in it with horses and things like that. So that's why I want to keep this one. I wanted to have at least one. But I had fun with it. It's just my problem is like I want to make more, but it takes so long sometimes to sell them. And I don't know. Like a lot of people make them, and if they don't sell, they don't care because they end up using them. But then you have some of them that never use them. Like there's some people that make these that don't even journal. So their whole purpose to sell. I just don't want to make a whole bunch and then just have a whole bunch that never sold. You know what I mean? Because I have a lot of journals yet to fill up. I'm working in one right now, and I am going to do a video at some point when I get a minute to sit down. I want to do a video of all the ones I've used. Like towards the end of December, like maybe over the Christmas holidays or something. When my store is closed, I want to do a video of all the journals I've used this year, so that people can see how I utilize them. Because I know Bonnie, I bought one of her Christmas ones last year and used it for Christmas last year, and she wants to see what it looks like after. So I want to give her that video show so she can see how I utilized her stuff, the one she made. I think it's cool to see something after somebody made it. But you should try one, Christine. I think you'd be good at it. You should try to make one. There's a whole bunch of process videos out there listed that people show different styles that they make. So you should try to make one. Are you interested in doing one? Are you still here? Hello? Okay, I guess you left. It's one thing I do wish Yahoo would change is when somebody comes up into a live stream, you could see if their names were still there or not. So if they got kicked out, you would know. And you wouldn't feel like you're talking to yourself. Or if they had the feature to show and hide whoever comes into your stream, you could see people coming and going. That would be cool too. So you know who your lurkers are. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. And whoever come into the live stream, thank you. I hope you enjoyed your time here. And Tim, it was a great conversation he had. He's really, really nice. He's really fun. I'm glad I found him on another stream. He seems like a cool guy. So anyways, you guys have a great night. Thank you for spending your time with me. And bye. I hope wherever you're at in your time and you're enjoying your time. Mwah. Good night.